Okay, so Hollywood blew yet another bag, and look, at this point, I'm not even shocked. I'm just kind of impressed by the consistency of it. Like, if you're gonna burn through $175 million, at least be creative. Or, you could just send some my way. I'll put it to good use. I'm not picky. But no, they'd rather spend it on a film that the fans didn't ask for, say things in interviews that rub people the wrong way, and then stand around looking confused when the numbers come back bad. And here's the thing, this isn't the first time, nor is it the second. It's starting to feel a bit like a habit. And I don't know about you, but when someone keeps making the same mistake over and over, at some point you stop calling it a mistake. And that someone is me. I make the same mistakes over and over all the time. But anyway, welcome to Anchor Reactions, by the way. If you're new here, we watch stuff, we break it down, and say what most people are already thinking, but maybe haven't said it out loud yet. So there's no face, just the voice, and honestly, I think the voice does enough. So you may want to stick around. So today we're going to react to the breakdown of the new Supergirl film, Woman of Tomorrow. I think it's James Gunn's big swing for the reboot of the DCU. And before we get into it, I want to be upfront. I'm not here to just pile on, alright? I genuinely want to understand what's going on over there because something clearly is. The choices being made, the things being said in interviews, and the way the numbers just keep sliding. It all points to the same thing. And it's the same thing that happened with Snow White. I mean, that was a masterclass, a genuine masterclass in how to ruin a franchise and in the process, ruin your own career. So, well done, Rachel Zegler. You're not famous anymore. You're infamous. Anyway, that's where we're headed. Let's go. Now, before we can get into the video, right, just some context. The lead here is Millie Alcock. Pause. She gave an interview during the press run, and look, I'll let you hear it in a bit because context is everything. But what I'll say now is she had a real opportunity to get people excited, and she went in a completely different direction. And I don't think she learned from what happened with Snow White. I genuinely don't. It's like watching someone see a wet floor sign, look right at it, and walk straight into it anyway, and then act confused on the way down. We'll get there. Let's run it and see what happens.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of James Gunn Studios.
All
So,
right.
Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. The first project is Creature Commandos. Crap. The next project up is Waller.
It never happened.
Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy.
Crap.
Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns.
Whack.
Next is a big movie called The
Whack.
Authority.
It never happened.
We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost.
It's an urban legend that never happened.
The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold.
Not this time. It never happened.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold.
Not this time.
One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom
fun.
King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Let's see.
Burgerotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet, as we approach what looks to be
Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, you should go. Check it out if you're into those movies and stuff like that. His channel is pretty good. Breaks down stuff really well. He knows a lot. So,
a grim opening box office weekend for Supergirl. I don't think I'm going out on a limb here by saying that the
James Gunn.
DCU has not gotten off to the best of starts. Let's recap, shall we? James Gunn's first public act as the co-CEO of the newly founded DC Studios was to tell Henry Cavill he's not playing Superman anymore. And it was
wait, hold on. Because I was actually wondering why they changed Superman from Henry Cavill. And honestly, that's probably why the whole thing been mid at best. Like, who's this new Superman anyway? I've never seen this guy before, never heard of him either. So now we have this goofball, we have a Supergirl and a Superdog. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to ruin my childhood? Blasphemy. And look, Henry Cavill showed up to that role like he actually cared. He went home, read every comic he could find, came in ready, and Gunn looked at all of that and said, nah, we're gonna go in a different direction. Which is fine, it's a choice you can make, but then you have to live with whatever comes after it. And what came after it is this. Alright, so let's keep going.
All downhill from there. What didn't help is after he took over, he had to sit through 6 flops in a row, which were Black Adam, Shazam Fury of the Gods, The Flash, James Gunn's favorite superhero film,
A fantastic movie that I really love.
You know what?
Blue Beetle, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and Joker 2. But after that, it was
Wow.
finally in James Gunn's hands, and he decided to launch the DCU with an animated series that nobody watched, Creature Commandos. And Gunn with one end to my head, I would say
Right.
it's the best of the worst. But we already have a problem because that's not where the DCU starts. Where does it start, and what is canon? Well, I have no idea, and neither does
Right.
James Gunn.
A lot of people are wondering what's canon in the
I don't
new
think you like
DC.
James Gunn.
As far as I can tell, it's the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Is that true? Like, what can you guys say about that?
Well, it's whatever we mention in
Right.
anything. So I can't tell you any. Listen,
It could be Creature Commandos, or it could be Blue Beetle, where the movie doesn't count, but a lot of the characters are going to end up in future DC.
All right, so those numbers that we just saw, they probably worth talking about for a second, right? So the Flash lost around $320 million. Shazam 2 lost around 160 million because I just checked it. All right, Black Adam was also a flop. All right, which in all honesty is kind of impressive in a bad way because Dwayne Johnson promoting a film is about as close to a sure thing as you can get. The man he has this like this golden retriever energy. Like everyone likes him, he's everywhere. It should just work. And it still did. So at some point you're gonna have to ask, is the product the problem? Because the marketing wasn't the issue. They spent a lot of money on that stuff. The names weren't the issue. I mean, you have the rock right there. So something else is going on, and I think most of us watching this already know what it is. Right, so let's keep going.
DCU projects. It could
There
be
you go.
Peacemaker Season 1 because they reshot the ending to that for Peacemaker Season 2, which would connect it to the Suicide Squad. So that could be your starting point. I'll let James
Right.
Gunn explain it.
To be totally sure, everything that's purely canon is Creature Commandos
I don't
through
think he likes
Superman,
James Gunn.
through Lanterns, Supergirl, Peacemaker Season 2. The truth is, almost all of Peacemaker is canon, with the exception of Justice League.
Peacemaker's pretty easy. Peacemaker season 1 is basically canon outside of the appearance of the Justice League. I think of
Oh, it
Suicide
is?
Squad and Peacemakers as pretty unreliable memories of what happened in the DCU.
Or James Gunn
Okay.
recently confirmed that a movie about a B-list Batman villain without Batman, Clayface, is chronologically the first
What the hell
story
did
in
he
the
do with his
DCU.
face?
I hope that clears things up because it doesn't for me. But it shouldn't matter because James Gunn says canon doesn't really matter.
You know, one of the weird things to me is it, and none of this is real. It may be alarming to people.
Basically, as far as James Gunn is concerned,
Right.
canon has become way more important than it should be. And his new DC universe is going to reflect that point of view big time.
And that became apparent big time with what followed Creature Commandos,
Okay.
starting with Superman's James Gunn, a film that would be best described as a gassed up mid. And there was a lot of people out there doing a lot of mental gymnastics trying to make Superman's performance look better than it was. Like the Access Media asking, is 800 million the new 1 billion? But the people gassing it up the most were everyone from Warner Brothers and
$800 million. Like, oh my God, if you're gonna fumble so many bags, just give me one, give me a bag. Come on. You guys just keep fumbling all these bags. Just pass one away on this side.
I'm sure it had nothing to do with the sale that was going on behind the scenes since the day Zaslav got there. Following the family film, Superman's James Gunn, everybody was supposed to gather around the couch and watch an HBO Max series, Peacemaker Season 2, featuring a bisexual orgy and starring James Gunn's wife having sex with superheroes.
I was looking at the kiss as like, I'm fucking loving it.
This brings us to Supergirl and its star Millie Alcock, who's trying to do her
I don't know. You guys tell me. What do you think about that? Like watching your wife kiss someone else on screen. Like if you were a director or something like that, how would you feel? Like I don't know. To me, that's just kind of weird.
Best Rachel Zegler and kill this film in the crib. The backlash started back in March from this Vanity Fair interview where she said simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies.
Oh,
Now,
here
there
we
she was
go.
talking about the House of the Dragon fandom where there was
Here we go.
absolutely no backlash, so I don't know what the hell she was talking about. But as far as the actual statement is concerned, it just sounds like a bunch of Hollywood gobbledygook. But she
I mean, this is the thing about this entire generation of movies and culture and everything. It's always about like men are bad, like and all this stuff. They want to decenter men and this and that and the other. It's like, dude, like everyone benefits from the patriarchy, even you. So stop, like, leave us alone, man.
felt the need to respond to the backlash to that statement instead of, I don't know, ignoring it by saying, I didn't even say men. I said
Exactly.
people, Alcock says, and they got so angry. I was like,
we
you're
all
proving
know
my
what she
point.
meant.
You're proving my point. Problem is, the people who were involved in the backlash were people, not just men. And if she stopped there, she might have had a point. Unfortunately, she didn't and proved everybody else's point. Anyway, Millie Alcock started her generational run of imparting wisdom on all of us plebs with this. From Variety, just f***ing go for it. How Supergirl star Millie Alcock learned how to ignore the trolls, except she didn't because she's literally responding to them, and became a punk rock superhero. Because nothing says punk rock like a Supergirl movie made by a multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporation that was
I
just
know,
bought
right?
by another multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporation for $111 billion. But I'll give them this. They're more punk rock than Green.
$111 billion. Come on, I'm serious now. Give me a bag. Like I'm serious now. Give me a bag.
Day. So after not ignoring the trolls and saying that they are proving her point, Alcock even understands sort of where these base urges originate. With a world as unstable and terrifying as it is now, hate to break this to you, Millie and everybody else, the world has always been unstable and terrifying. We just know more about it now. Governments
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
true.
anyone's best interest at heart.
What
Aside
does
from
that have
that
to do
being a
with the
day that
movie?
ends in Y, what the hell does this have to do with Supergirl? And people turn
Exactly. What does all of this have to do with the movie? What does it? What does the government have to do with the movie? It's a superhero movie. It's not real. It's fan fiction. What the hell? Uh, uh, People have just lost the plot.
to online forums to find that guidance, she says. It just creates an unhealthy relationship with a person who will eventually and inevitably disappoint their fans. I know she thinks she's talking about all you online incels out there, but it almost sounds like she's talking about Hollywood or in particular Supergirl. I guess women know this is just how it's always been, unfortunately, Alcock adds. It's just from a lot of people whose
All cock.
profiles have no photo, who are
All cock. Pause. Pause. Big pause. Polar bear pause. Bigfoot pause. Pause.
burner accounts or someone's name and then dad of 4 Christian, which is hilarious to me. But I mean, whose opinion do you really care about? If you're pissing the right kind of people off, you're doing okay. I don't hate to break this to you, Millie. There's a lot more riding on this than just your movie, and you can't afford to piss anybody
Exactly.
off. But
Exactly, right? But I would say this: she's kind of young and new to this whole thing, especially in this limelight. So I'll give her a small pass for now.
why wouldn't she feel this way when co-CEO of DC Studios, Peter Safran, called her about the backlash and said she's doing great?
But wait! There's more!
The years, and
Scary
many
movie.
fans have embraced Supergirl as a queer icon. What do you think is about Kara that inspires that kind of connection?
What the hell is that thing? What is that? I thought that was a lapel pin. I thought that was one of those things you stick on the little pocket square right there on the shirt. I don't know, man. What is that thing? And a queer what? A queer icon. What the hell does that mean?
I think I played a few characters that might have a potential queer through line. I have many queer friends, so honestly, I'm kind of honored.
Is it just me or does she seem a little bit off? Like she's on something? I don't know.
I'm honored that that's happening, but I think because she doesn't live inside the binary of what we think a woman should be, that is what makes her so special and so exciting and so new. And yeah, I kind of thought that as well. I was like, she'd do what she'd want to do in that regard.
For starters, in no way has
she does look a
Supergirl
bit
been
off.
a queer icon in the entirety of her history or herstory. I sold comic books in San Francisco for 10 years, and the vast majority of the buyers were straight dudes. Second, as far as the binary of what women are supposed to be is concerned, it's a mantra that we've been hearing a lot with the promotion. I'm guessing she's talking about messy women being portrayed in cinema, because we certainly haven't seen that in the last 10 or 20 years.
Exactly.
Hell, the last time we saw it in the DCU was with James Gunn's wife playing Harcourt. And finally, for this interview anyway, while being completely aware that I'm old, I don't know why, but those little microphones just piss me off. They're annoying as hell. They remind me of the little phones from Zoolander. Speaking of annoying, there's more.
Discussion online about Kara's queerness in the comics. Was that something that you explored when you were preparing for the role?
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions, I don't know. I think that
Like, can't they just be original with the questions? You just have to keep asking about, her sexuality, her identity, and all that stuff. Like, just ask her regular questions about the movie. Oh, damn it, man.
what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love. If anything, but we'll see. I don't really know, but I don't know. I don't know. She'll probably go both ways.
It's great.
To anyone from the community on this month or any other month, could you maybe mix up your questions a little bit?
Just to shake things up.
Outside of a couple of alternate
Same thing I was
universe
saying.
comic titles, which nobody read, Supergirl is super straight until she ends up in the absolute universe where she will absolutely be a lesbian. But as far as this statement is concerned,
I don't know. I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love.
It's no longer 1937. Weird.
while it's not centered around a man, you need a couple of men to sell your movie. We've seen an awful lot of Superman and Lobo in the trailers who aren't in the film
Exactly.
very much. This is sounding a little familiar.
And that's the thing. They always say that they don't need men and this and that and the other. But everyone benefits from this so-called patriarchy. Like, give me a break with that stuff, man.
That's why I made this prediction back in May. It's just another Hollywood case of they never learn. Now, contrast all of Millie Alcock's statements with her former co-star from House of the Dragon, Matt
Right.
Smith's.
It's all about the fans. That's why we're here. That's why we go and work in
There
these
you
for
go.
8 months a year.
There you go.
And it's never going to appeal to everyone. Everyone has their own opinion, particularly on George's work.
Right.
But for me personally, it's their show. We make it, we do all that work, and then we hand it over.
Yeah.
And I hope it delivers on the scale that that we want it to for them. If it does, if it doesn't, who knows? Only time will tell. But absolutely, it's completely about the fans. It's
Exactly.
their show.
Man. Exactly. Look at the difference. Like, he's not trying to descend to anyone. He's focused on the fans, and she's focused on decentering men and this and that and the other. Like, oh my God, like they're just gonna ruin everything.
You see, it's really not that hard. The fact of the matter is, despite all the wisdom we've gotten from Miss Alcock, if she hadn't said a word, Supergirl would
Alcock.
still be cooked. If you recall, at the end of Superman, Supergirl shows up and calls him a bitch.
Thanks for watching him, bitch.
The first Supergirl trailer opens up with Krypto taking a piss on a picture of Superman's face. And then there was the first poster that said
Christ.
truth, justice, and whatever, which might not have been as bad if they weren't afraid to say truth, justice, in the American way in the first film, which they didn't. And then there's the general attitude
That's
and
funny.
take on Superman, which you not only saw in his own film, but it's going to be carried over into Supergirl.
He sees the good in everyone. And I see the truth.
I think he's really sweet.
sure
I
you
think he's
do.
really endearing. And then I think he's also too stubborn. He's too naive.
I love the line in the film where she's like, he's
Naive.
basically a nerd.
He's a nerd. He's a dog.
So Supergirl's attitude matches James Gunn's attitude towards Superman, which makes neither of them likable. And all that probably has a lot to
Yeah, I
do
don't
with
think
the
anyone-
rather
I
grim
don't think he
box
likes
office
them.
projections. Despite the Supergirl math that's going on out there right now, saying that $315 million is all this film needs to break even on a $175 million budget. Apparently somebody's under the impression there are zero marketing costs and theaters are going to show Supergirl for free. Original domestic opening weekend estimates were between 47 and 65 million, then they went
Right.
down to 55 55 million.
Jesus
Now they're
Christ.
down to 51 million, and some are reporting even as low as 39 million. And the claims of
Whoa.
record-breaking pre-sales for tickets weren't exactly true. All you have to
pretty
do is
bad.
go look at those empty seats for all the fan screenings. Now, to be fair, the AMC Burbank is sold out, but
Jesus
that's
Christ.
Hollywood's home field. There are plenty of seats available, and I don't think you would have a problem getting a ticket the day of the fan screening. My local
All right, so the whole pitch of this film is basically men on the focus. This isn't for you, step aside. And then the preview opens with Superman and Jason Momoa. Because apparently men aren't the focus, but men are on the poster. I mean, pick a lane. You can't tell someone they're not invited and then use them to sell the party. That's just not how it works. And the numbers are showing that too. Like opening weekend projections slipped from what, 55 million down to 39 million. The budget is somewhere between 175 and 225 million. So they need close to what, 400 million just to break even. And it's not looking good, to say the least.
IMAX still has seats available, and it was completely sold out well in advance of The Flash, something Supergirl is being compared to. Contrast that with the Spider-Man brand new day fan screenings, which are almost sold out. But not to
I
worry,
wanna see
here to
that.
rescue Supergirl are the influencers. Yes, the very same social media influencers that think everything is amazing until the rest of us see it, and then they hope you forget their take. It's gotten so bad that The Hollywood Reporter even had to admit there's a problem. Keeping in mind that social media first reactions to advanced screenings
there's a problem.
always tend to skew at least slightly more positive than a film's eventual consensus. And in this case, you
Exactly.
always have to consider the influencer, like the Mary Sue, big fan of this channel. Supergirl is everything I wanted to be. Girls can be messy, and that rules. They sure can, Rachel. Or Geeks of Color. Supergirl is the best blockbuster of the summer.
Right.
Exactly.
Or that
yeah.
Hollywood show, Supergirl soars. Man, I was worried we wouldn't get a soars. But considering how messy Supergirl is supposed to be in the movie, you might get some soars. Other reviews are comparing Supergirl to Mad Max, or more specifically, Furiosa, a film that was a complete flop. But the worst comparison of all, as far as the numbers are concerned, is with the Marvels. Like I said, there's
Oh
a
my
lot
God,
more
that was
writing
so
on
much
this than
crap.
just a film. The future of the DCU is at stake. A DCU whose face isn't Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, or even Supergirl. It's James Gunn, because no one likes James Gunn like James Gunn. The man certainly isn't afraid of press or giving his every thought on threads. He also
Jesus
put himself on the cover of a Superman comic. They
come
animated him
on.
into the intro of Creature Commandos. Speaking of which, Rick Flag might even be a self-insert. I report, you decide.
You know, Rick Flag Sr. is an incredibly vain man.
Yeah,
I think the
he
guy
doesn't
dyes
like
his
James
hair.
Gunn.
I think on season 2 of Peacemaker, we got a dye beard, and we also have a dye hair.
The initials from the Justice Gang in Superman just so happens to match his initials. And if Supergirl flops, it's going to be a major blow to the DCU and, more importantly, James Gunn's ego. And the next two projects aren't likely to light a fire under the DCU. The next film is going to be about a B-list Batman movie without Batman, Clayface. And the next HBO
the hell
show
did he do
was
with
a
his
great
face?
opportunity to introduce an interesting DC character, Green Lantern, except they've taken away the green because it's stupid.
You just announced a Green Lantern show.
What?
It's called Lanterns because we all agreed that the green was stupid.
Wait, what? All right, so a Green Lantern show with no rings, a Clayface film with no Batman. Look, the rings are the whole point of Green Lantern. That's not a detail, that's the entire concept. Pulling them is like making a Bond film where Bond has no gear, no car, no moves. He just sits there and talks about his feelings. Which, maybe that's a film someone wants to make, but don't call it Bond. And don't act surprised when the Bond fans don't show up. And that's kind of the pattern with Gunn across the board, from what I'm seeing, of course, at least.
And instead of it being a cosmic adventure, it's True Detective, where you'll be on HBO. You could just go watch True Detective. Season 1's brilliant. And the fate of the DCU will be decided in a film where the titular character has been removed from the title of his own sequel, just like the Marvels. Man of Tomorrow. Now, I could be wrong, but I think James Gunn's fate is sealed, and I think it's been proven long ago that he was never the right guy for the job. Trying to make Supergirl Mad Max, trying to make Green Lanterns True Detective. He can't say truth, justice, and the American way, and even after being made the co-head of the newly founded DC Studios. He couldn't crack the character of Superman until he did it through his dog. Oh, and there's that tiny little detail of making Jor-El and Lara evil, wanting their son to conquer the earth and get himself a harem. I mean, based, but that's not true to the comic characters. But that is true to James Gunn because he doesn't believe in truth, justice, and the American way.
You know what? I'm just gonna stop it right there. All right. If you guys want to go check it out, go on over to his page and check it out. It's pretty good. So that's the full picture. And look, maybe the film will be good. Maybe it's well made. Maybe Millie Alcock pause is great in it. I genuinely don't know yet because I didn't see it and I'm not going to see it because the last Superman was mid at best. But the conversation around it has done real damage. And the thing about trust is, once you've lost it with an audience, it's very hard to get it back. Men in particular aren't going to come back just because you ask us to. We're just not going to do that, right? We'll come back when we feel like what's being made is actually for us, when we feel like our presence is wanted, not just for our money, you know. Uh, and right now, that's not the message coming across. It's not about being difficult. It's not about being against change. It's just about being respected as part of the audience. That's it. Like, who the hell else looking at these movies? These movies were made by men for men, and men are still the overwhelming the biggest consumers of these types of movies. So that's it. That's the whole thing. And until that changes, the numbers are just gonna keep going down. Just gonna keep telling the same story. Anyway, that's my take. Right? Drop yours in the comment section. I read all of them. Right? So stay sharp. All right. And if you're new here, again, just subscribe. I do this every week, and it's always worth your time. I hope so. So if you've been here for a while, you already know the deal. Just drop a comment. All right. Are you gonna watch the Supergirl movie, or are you gonna spend your cash on something else? I'm not gonna watch it. I don't think so. But I genuinely want to know what you're gonna do. And if this one hits home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.